He can pull it off. Unbelievable. That'll be 4 champs, 2 interims and 2 legit, well 3 legit now with Tom being promoted from the UK that have become champions. And for Justin Gaethje, this is the final go. This is the final crack of the whip. The man's had 2 title fights in the past, Charles Oliveira to Khabib Nurmagomedov, and now he gets to go up against Paddy.
I am not saying that Paddy deserves this more than Arman, but I'm just saying because he hasn't fought, because Ilia hasn't fought, and I suspect they want to get into a training camp. If they haven't even started one already, I suspect they're going to want to announce this, get rolling with the promotion. There's a lot of history there, and you have Arman sit in the front row, and you say he is next. Like, let's get some decorum here. Let's start figuring out who's next. What's the pecking order?
The big Paramount deal is wrapping up fast, and 2026 is already looking explosive. We've got Justin Gaethje set to throw down with Paddy Pimblett for that interim lightweight strap.
Paddy's not bad. He's very beatable, and Gaethje's very beatable as well. But when it goes into the passion and how upsetting Justin Gaethje has always been about not getting that real title shot, and they just keep dangling it right there again, Paddy's in for a new treat, right? Paddy's the one that's never fought for a belt. He's going in there. He's going to be trying to, get that stuff. He's going to feel a little bit more fresher. He's going to have that little bit of excitedness, in my opinion.
Tony Ferguson didn't hold back with his take on this matchup. He's convinced Justin has been through wars that Paddy can't even imagine. Tony sees Paddy's confidence as coming from being fresh and unscathed, but Justin's hunger that comes from getting beat up, learning lessons, and earning every scar. When that cage door closes, Tony thinks Paddy's energy won't stack up against Justin's hard-earned knowledge.
I mean, the fight not happening. It's Justin or Paddy now. Paddy got to get past Justin. Justin's a tough fight, bro. I don't know. A lot of people sleeping on Justin on the Paddy fight, which just makes me ridiculous.
This guy was going hard for Justin, saying the MMA world is acting blind to what's right in front of them. Even though he's still competing, he made it clear that people get mesmerized by Paddy's hype machine and forget to actually watch what Justin does in there. He's calling Justin pure violence, and when things get serious, Justin becomes tougher to hurt, harder to stop, and more dangerous than anyone expects. The problem is people sleep on Justin because he's been this explosive for so long that his incredible skills look ordinary when they're anything but.
I mean, I want him to win, that guy, I hate him. But I hope Justin Gaethje not gonna drink, party, gonna train, dedicate himself, be focused. It's his last chance in this life. He was fighting for the title maybe 5 times. So this is his chance, and the end of his career, win the interim title, fight for the real title, and then retire. That's the best for him.
Arman Tsarukyan jumped into this debate swinging, backing Justin while throwing shade at Paddy. Arman's argument is simple. Justin earned this shot by actually beating elite fighters and climbing the rankings the right way. He thinks Paddy still has major holes in his game that fans ignore because of all the noise surrounding him, and Justin's relentless pressure will expose every single one. Arman doesn't see this being competitive at all. He's predicting Justin dominates every round and silences the crowd with a brutal finish.
Be able to take him down. Will he dance around the octagon? Yes, he will. Will he try and replicate the game plan of Max Holloway? Of course he will. Who wouldn't try and do that? You aren't going to stand and go toe-to-toe with Justin Gaethje because the man does have knockout power. But underestimate Paddy at your peril. That's all I'll say about that one, but that is a phenomenon.
Michael Bisping pushed back against that narrative, warning everyone not to sleep on Paddy. He pointed to Paddy's timing, unpredictable movement, and constant improvement as reasons why he's dangerous for anyone, including Justin. Bisping thinks people get fooled by personality over performance, and Paddy has enough talent to shock anyone expecting Justin to walk through him. According to Bisping, writing off Paddy is a mistake because confidence and accurate striking can completely flip a fight when Justin least expects it.
And he can pull it off. Unbelievable. That'll be 4 champs, 2 interims and 2 legit, well 3 legit now with Tom being promoted from the UK that have become champions. And for Justin Gaethje, this is the final go. This is the final crack of the whip. The man's had 2 title fights in the past, Charles Oliveira to Khabib Nurmagomedov, and now he gets to go up against
that Paddy's readiness to take.
Bisping also warned that Justin might be carrying massive pressure, since this could be his final shot at gold. He thinks that weight can mess with a fighter's head when they feel time running out, and Justin needs to stay calm instead of swinging wild early and avoid getting desperate. In Bisping's mind, this mental pressure alone could become Justin's biggest enemy and give Paddy openings to steal rounds or create chaos that changes everything.
Paddy Pimblett, I reckon Pimblett's going to win. He keeps at very good range, keeps his distance a lot, doesn't get caught up in the pocket too much, throws in volume when he does throw a lot of the time with his 1-2, 1-2, and then a jump knee, and a lot of dynamic things that can get the better of Gaethje. Plus, he's going to mix in the takedowns. And Gaethje's getting up there in his career. He's just going through more and more wars, more and more scraps, a ton of time off. Pimblett coming into his prime, has been in shape for a while for this matchup as well.
Those openings, even small ones, might actually guarantee Paddy's success. Because Justin tends to get sloppy when he goes into berserker mode.
Something really fascinating.
Sure. Justin Gaethje against Paddy Pimblett. Me against Islam. Once I pass him, I get the title, and you put me against Paddy.
You think Paddy's going to beat Justin Gaethje?
Easy.
That's a crazy thing to say because Justin Gaethje, animal.
Yeah, but he doesn't know how to grapple, and Paddy knows
But
that.
he's a Division I wrestler. He knows how to grapple. You don't think he knows how to grapple? He just chooses.
Daniel Cormier shocked everyone by also picking Paddy's side. He thinks Paddy's striking has evolved enough to land serious damage when Justin overextends himself. DC explained that Justin creates vulnerabilities during wild exchanges, and Paddy, if he stays disciplined, has the accuracy to capitalize on those moments. Despite their past beef, DC acknowledged that Paddy matches up well in certain areas, and wouldn't be surprised if Paddy finds early success.
Be clear, I am not saying that Paddy deserves this more than Arman, but I'm just saying because he hasn't fought, because Ilia hasn't fought, and I suspect they want to get into a training camp. If they haven't even started one already, I suspect they're going to want to announce this, get rolling with the promotion. There's a lot of history there, and you have Arman sit in the front row, and you say he is next. Like, let's get some decorum here. Let's start figuring out who's next.
But with all these predictions flying around, this matchup has definitely created a massive controversy. Plenty of people questioned why Arman Tsarukyan got left out. But Ariel Helwani led the charge with the harshest criticism. He slammed the UFC for prioritizing storylines and money over competitive fairness by booking Paddy based on his rivalry with Ilia, instead of merit. Ariel argues that fans expect the top contender in an interim title fight.
How in the world are you going to headline an interim title fight over that one? How are you going to put that beneath an interim title fight? And an interim title fight, once again, that does not feature the #1 contender. Please.
He went on to say that rankings become meaningless when the #1 fighter gets skipped for marketing reasons. He said the lightweight division is in chaos, and fans deserve answers. He argued this decision looks completely manufactured and has zero sporting logic behind it. Ariel stressed that the division gets messy whenever rankings get ignored, especially when championships are involved.
Honestly, it should have been the co-main event, 5-round, #1 contender fight, Ilia versus Arman, second half of the year. What's the problem with that? And now what you just said, because he reiterated this in the Instagram Live, the winner of this fight is going to fight Ilia. What happens to Arman? Arman's going to have to fight who? What is going on? What does Arman Tsarukyan have to do to get a shot at the belt now? I know he had the fight back in January. He got hurt. Sue the guy. He sat patiently. He went out there. He steamrolled right through Dan Hooker. He did exactly what he had to do. He did what Khamzat and Islam did not do. He finished his opponent on the ground in dominant, impressive fashion. And now what is he? Now he's just floating in the wind. And he's not even next, apparently.
According to him, if it wasn't for Ilia's personal situation, the real fight should have been Ilia versus Arman, without question. He noted both fighters earned their positions through legitimate wins, not popularity contests, and bypassing them makes a division run on hype instead of skill. He thinks bringing in Paddy puts entertainment over authenticity, which bothers fans who follow the sport for its competitive integrity.
So well that we go, man, the way he beat Chandler, we've never seen that before. But Ilia's a different beast. He's a savage. But so is Arman Tsarukyan. I believe that Arman versus Ilia is the fight, man. 100%. From the interactions they have, the way that you can tell that those guys don't like each other. Ilia said he slapped him the other day. Arman said he touched his face, and now he's saying he slapped him. It's easy to build a fight between these two, because when you build a fight between these two, you feel like it's going to be very competitive.
Daniel Cormier completely agreed with Ariel's perspective, saying Ilia versus Arman should have been the only title fight considered. He explained that the UFC damages the division's credibility when deserving contenders get pushed aside for business reasons. DC emphasized that merit should drive title matchmaking, or the belts start losing their value. He thinks these kinds of decisions ultimately hurt the division.
Going to fight, I think Paddy would have a good chance to keep it past a round or two, because he's not going to engage, I think, as much as Oliveira did, and we all found out how Oliveira would do if that right hand left hook lands. But ultimately, I think Topuria, it's not as big of a mismatch as most people think, but it's definitely a mismatch, and that's just because we're talking Ilia Topuria.
Michael Chandler also chimed in quickly, saying if Paddy somehow wins this fight, then Ilia would be facing the easiest possible opponent of his career. Chandler broke down how the gap in size, physicality, striking sit-it, and experience between Ilia and Paddy would be massive. Creating such a mismatch would barely look competitive, and many analysts shared this perspective, calling it a gift-wrapped title defense.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is by far the best performance of Arman Tsarukyan's career. We hadn't seen him since April of 2024. We were supposed to see him at the beginning of this year. It all fell apart. I don't know what happened. Back injury, bad weight cut, whatever the actual reason was, I don't know. What I do know is that guy who you just saw there at 155 pounds, and that means I'm excluding Islam from this conversation for the present moment. That is by far, Ilia Toporia's toughest test.
Chimed in afterwards.
He also said people need to stop thinking Justin Gaethje is just a heavy-handed brawler because he hits like a truck. He argued that Arman Tsarukyan represents the only real threat to Ilia Toporia's throne and that the UFC is wasting time on meaningless fights. He highlighted Arman's wrestling foundation, pace, and composure to put Ilia in tough spots. As he put it, Gaethje versus Paddy brings entertainment but doesn't answer the real title question.
They gave him easier because they know he's gonna lose to Ilia. Better like to do interim title and make something like a bigger than, because if he has no title, he's fighting for the title. He's not that big, but when he gonna be, I hope he's not gonna be a champion, but like UFC think he's gonna be a champion and he's gonna fight for the real belt with Ilia. That time he's gonna be superstar and they can sell more pay-per-views or whatever they do. And the real fighters like me just watching and waiting.
Dana White kept it simple, saying this is just UFC business as usual. He explained the organization wants eyeballs and compelling stories, and Paddy is a massive star who generates incredible buzz. Arman admitted he understands the logic, even though he hates the decision. He clarified the UFC will sacrifice ranking integrity for excitement, and this situation shows entertainment winning out. They're trying to build something bigger.
Our Paddy Pimblett and to bring him to fight for the title with Topuria has a bigger name and make it like a big fight, like a kind of Khabib versus Conor, but they're not, even if he got the
that he was one of the few men in this division that wanted to fight you. I'm curious, how many options did you have for this card? And is it true? Is he one of the few that said yes to fighting you?
No, he's the only one who said yes from deserver fighters, and I supposed to fight with Gaethje as well. He said.
just levitated his way into an interim title shot, which is insane, but fair enough. As an Englishman, I'm all on board with this. But, you know, it is what it is. I think he'll beat Gaethje, but let it be known, Gaethje said, I'm not fighting ever again, and I'll retire if you don't give me a title shot. And bent the knee. They bent the knee to Justin Gaethje and just gave him what he wanted through him threatening to retire after beating Fiziev on short notice. Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Dana confessed the UFC wants to build Paddy and Ilia into a massive rivalry like Conor versus Khabib, and they're shaping the division around that narrative. He sees huge money and wants to milk the story for everything it's worth. He expects future matchmaking decisions to follow this same pattern as entertainment starts overtaking ranking systems more obviously. Subscribe for more rapid fight breakdowns, expert analysis, and unlimited content.